the counter offer? That was the first counter offer you came back with? 2.2.
I think it was 2.8.
It was 2.8.
I believe. It was 2.8. I think it was 2.8.
Hey yo, what up, Fight World Super Boxing Fanatic? I'm back with another one. Brian Norman Sr., he responded to Eddie Hearns again and said that he sent back them a contract for $2.8 million. I was trying to tell y'all Eddie Hearns was trying to lowball Brian Norman Jr. This is something that we're going to be talking about. Y'all stay tuned. So, as y'all can see, Brian Norman Jr., he want to fight Boots. And Eddie Hearns is trying to lowball this man. He trying to lowball Mario Barrios. He trying to lowball the newly crowned champion, Emmanuel Stanionis. He trying to lowball all three of these guys. And Eddie Hearns is looking to capitalize on the bigger payday. And which I feel like is wrong. The fighters should be getting paid more than the promoter is because they work for them. So Brian Sr., he told Eddie Hearns, he sent back, the 2.8, saying they'll take the fight for 2.8. And Eddie Hearns is still saying that he haven't heard back from Brian Norman Jr. and Sr. Well, he just cleared that all up. But as we know, I feel like Jaron, okay, he signed with the Zone, Eddie Hearns, right? And you got Emmanuel Stanionis and Mario Barrios. They signed with PBC. And then you have Brian Norman, which is signed with Top Rank. So I know Bob Arum and Eddie Hearns, they done some good work with each other. And Eddie Hearns did some work with Al Heyman. But it's looking like Eddie Hearns is trying to keep all the money for himself, but don't want to pay these fighters. I mean, you got you got three other champions in the weight class that Eddie Hearns can't seem to get these fights done because he don't want to pay the fighters. He trying to pocket the money and he trying to lowball these fighters. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. Not if you're trying to get your fighter to become unified or undisputed, and you being his promoter, trying to make him money. Who else could he fight? At 147 pounds. I mean, the only that weight class is really not lit, in my honest opinion. Keith Thurman he's out. Sean Porter, he retired. Terrence Crawford moved up to 154 pounds. So, who else at that weight class besides, David Avanesian and some other fighter that we don't even know about? You got Boots can rematch Tukazan, the one he just fought. Rich, I feel like that fight is gonna happen because Eddie Hearns don't want to pay these other fighters the money. It's not that these fighters don't want to fight each other. And then think about it. If you think about it, the 135 pound weight class is lit. You got some top hitters at that weight class. You got Davis, Gervonta Davis. You got Shakur Stevenson. You got Lomachenko. You got Keyshawn Davis. You got Abdullah Mason. You got some top hitters at 135. What other weight classes? And you still got Frank Martin. What other weight classes is lit like that? Not 140 pounds. Of course, you got Teofimo Lopez. You got Richardson Hitchens. You got Montana Love. You got Isaac Pitbull Cruz. You got Ryu there. You got Devin Haney. You got he's out for he said I guess he got a fight, he coming back. And then you got Ryan Garcia, he's out for a whole year, another 4 or 5 months. What other weight class is lit? There's no other weight class lit. The 154 pounds used to be lit. The 160 pounds used to be lit. I mean, the 154 pounds when you had Brian Castano, Tony Harrison, Erickson Lubin, Jamel Charlo, just to name a few. That weight class was lit. And 168 pounds, you got Canelo, you got Boo Boo Andrade, you had Jamal Charlo. He ain't been fighting, he ain't been active. Canelo is, the champion. You got David Benavidez. David Morrell went up to 175 pounds. Ain't no other weight class lit. So if Eddie Hearns want to try to bring and get the 147 pound weight class lit, he got to make this fight for boots. You got to pay these fighters, these other 3 fighters, Norman, Manny Stanionis, and Mario Barrios. And Manny Pacquiao look like he gonna fight Barrios. If Eddie Hearns don't come and put his foot down and say, hey, look, we just gonna pay you this money, you gotta, I don't know how many years that Boots signed with Eddie Hearns, but you gotta make these fights happen for Boots. And Boots already wasn't signed with Al Heyman. He wasn't trying to do no work with Al Heyman. Boots, was just fighting on Showtime. He had a contract with Steven Espinosa in Showtime, but that done ran out. So yeah, Eddie Hearns got to make these fight happen for Boot. I just feel like that was just a bad move in a way for Boots, because unless he go up to 154 pounds, and he could probably make something shake. But right now at 147 pounds, even if you go up to 154 pounds, you still got to pay these fighters. And Eddie Hearns saying this and saying that, Boots is this and Boots is that. Well, you got to pay this. You got to pay the other fighters to get in the ring with them. If not, you got to fight it with talent that look good, that got skills, that got power. You got ring IQ, ring generalship. But just ain't nobody going to want to fight them because you're not trying to pay them. And I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. If Eddie Hearns is, promoting him right and putting up the money like he said he gonna put behind him to get in the ring with, with all of these fighters. Y'all let me know your opinion. All right. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Well, okay. Said ain't so. It's looking like Boots Ennis versus Brian Norman Jr. It's not gonna happen. It's too many conflict of things going on. Eddie Hearns saying this and saying that, and Brian Norman Sr., he clears up everything. And I'm about to roll the clip of Brian Norman Sr. Roll the clip.
Man, full transparency again. It's been days. We waited 3 days. We waited like 3 days for another offer to even come back. We waited 3 days before they reached back out. It's crazy. So anyway, when we did, they came back out still low, still short. We can make this fight happen. If Eddie Hearns is who he say he is, he got Turkey Al-Sheikh in his corner, we can make this work. We most definitely did not price ourselves. That's why this is even being talked about, because Eddie, when they had a problem coming out telling you we outpriced ourselves, we did not at all. We're ready to go. My son is not optimistic anymore about this fight happening. I totally am, because I know my son can beat Jaron Ennis, and this is a great opportunity, but I can't let him go out like that. I can't let him do it for what they trying to say. I can't do that. But either way it go, we ready to go, man. Full transparency. So, but yeah, Eddie, let's go.
It's showtime!
As you just heard, Brian Norman Sr., he clears it all up and got a valid point. And it's looking like Eddie Hearns is the one that's capping.
1 2 1 2 1 2.
Eddie Hearns goes on to say a few words, talking about he sent out 3 offers and they the one looking like they the one that's capping. Come on, bro. So what did Brian Norman Sr. do? He get back, make another video, and put this out. I'm about to roll the clip.
Get this out before it even get started with Eddie Hearns, so I can go on and stop the cap. Eddie Hearns, you trying to spend this? Check this out. The first offer was was less than a third of what Boots made for David Avenesian. David Avenesian is only famous for getting beat by or getting knocked out by Bud. We was picking at David Avenesian. We was picking at his name and everything about David Avenesian before he fought Bud. Now all of a sudden David Avenesian is a name. It's the same thing I said about everybody got to be attached to a person, then they become a name. All right. So now your first offer was that, and it was literally just a little bit more than what you gave David Avenesian, and my son is a world champion. He brings to the table the exact same thing that Boots brings to the table. Boots doesn't bring anything more to the table than my son brings. It's a unification bout. He has his belt. My son has his belt. My son is taking all the chances. He's taking all the risks. You got it? So that's what you do. The second offer was less than half of what Boots made his last fight. The third offer was...
So, as you just heard, Brian Norman Sr. saying that Eddie Hearns sent out 3 offers, but they put out a counter offer. Eddie Hearns is trying to penny pinch them. Less than money for the fight. That's not going to work. That's not going to get the fight done. Eddie Hearns got to pay this man. They both bringing the same thing to the table, like Brian Norman said. His son got a belt. Boots got a belt. They got the same amount of fights. Almost the same amount of knockouts. They both put asses in the seats. They both got a lot to bring to the table. They both got a lot to lose. So, pay both of these fighters what they want. And Turki Al-Sheikh can make this fight happen if Eddie Hearns doing work with Turki Al-Sheikh. Only thing he got to do is just reach out to Turki Al-Sheikh. But Eddie Hearns looking like he want to keep the money. He want to keep the money. But I kind of felt like when Boots Ennis did that deal with Matchroom and Eddie, like, who he got to fight over there? It's gonna be some fights, but who does he have to fight? I mean, you got 4 champions out there with belts. You know, Mario Barrios, Boots got 1, Norman got 1, and I think Stanionis got 1. And Eddie Hearns going around saying that he sent offers to everybody, but they all coming out saying that Eddie Hearns ain't did nothing. He ain't did nothing. And the offer that he's trying to pay them, it ain't nothing. As you just heard, Brian Norman Sr. said that the money that they offered him was a little bit less. I mean, was a little bit more money that they paid David Avenesian, David Avalanche, David Avocado, David Can't Get Right, the one that got stopped by Crawford and, I mean, knocked out by Crawford and stopped by Boots. And it's looking like Boots is going to end up fighting Tsukazin for the second time because Eddie Hearns can't get that money right for these fighters. You don't want to pay the fighters. Oh, let it be Anthony Joshua. He gonna pay him. That's my thing. Like, Eddie Hearns, I see why, you know, and then at that, he's out in social media saying all of these things. Well, bro, you gotta put that in the right perspective. If you're trying to handle business in the right way. Talk direct to the person, not talking indirect. A lot will get done if you just talk to the person on the phone. If you can't talk to them in person, stop making videos and saying this and saying that. No. Get on the phone, hash it out. Trust me, you'll get a lot done. You get more bees with honey than anything else. So, if you want to get that fight done, you already know what to do. Come with the money right first. The negotiations got to be right. If that's done, then everything else gonna fall in line. And until then, you ain't gonna have no fight. You still gonna be making and saying, you know, things that's really not true. And sometimes people gotta fact check. And you know, if Eddie Hearns trying to put it all out on Front Street, these fighters gotta air it out, show what Eddie Hearns is trying to offer them, so they can see that he's trying to penny pitch them to make a fight when they all got belts. They all bringing the same thing to the table. No, it's a unification bout. And they all got big names. They got better names than Tukazin and the Avalanche. Norman got a better name. Barrios got a better name. And Stanionis got a better name. Come on, bro. You got to pay these men. Can't pay these men and expect for them to get in there for less money. That ain't going to work. That is not going to work. Sorry, partner. Gotta come to the table with a lot more. And that's just my take on it, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this whole fiasco, this debacle of Eddie Hearns trying to pity pinch these fighters that try to make a fight with boots. You want a big fight, get paid less money. It ain't gonna work. So y'all let me know what y'all think. All right, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. One love, one life. I'm out. Peace.